Going to spend a little bit of time in this video speaking about one of my pet hates. One of my pet hates is people talking about facts. I can't fucking stand facts. I've got no time for facts. When people say they've fact-checked this, what someone said, or when you go to the root of where they're fucking fact-checked it from, well, that needs fucking fact-checking. It needs fact-checking from here to Timbuktu, on most counts. Fucking facts. You know what I say? I say fuck facts. I really do. I'm not interested in facts. I have very little time for science. We could say, oh, well, science has brought us this and science has brought us that. Look, science has brought us some stuff, but as far as the facts are concerned, I think they use that in a very, very loose term, because the world is in constant flux. Things change all the time. And one person's so-called fact is another person's bullshit. And what we're discovering these days, people, when you listen to scientists and people that are in debates with scientists, they are saying that they are sick and tired of this fucking scientism. Like the whole thing in recent times, right, with Fauci and all the rest of that entourage. Trust the science, trust the science, trust the science. Well, since then, we've learned very, very factually not to trust the science, yeah, because what they've turned out is, well, that was wrong and this is wrong and that's wrong, so you've been talking about all these facts and this is the fact and that's a fact, when in actual fact none of it was fact. It was a big dollop of Now, I can't speak in my usual manner, giving the facts, because this video is going on YouTube, and you can't talk about facts on YouTube, right? So that's a sign of the times, isn't it? Maybe it's because YouTube has realised that there's no facts, there's lies, and there's conjecture. And so that's what they like to promote, lies and conjecture, under the guise of facts. So really, seriously people, I don't know how you feel, but I'm assuming because you're watching my video, you're not here for the fucking facts, because I've never ever told you in any video I've ever made that this is a fact and I'm just dealing with the facts and I'm looking for the facts, and you've never heard me say that I believe in truth and I'm looking for truth and this is true and that's true. If I've ever said it, it's just very, very loosely through common parlance, which you have to use words like belief and fucking truth unless you're exceedingly careful to avoid those words. But as far as facts are concerned, I don't believe in them. As far as truth is concerned, I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it, full stop, period. Even as a concept. I'm too long in the tooth. I'm too broad in what I've come to know about this world. And to be quite frank with you people, other than certain truths and facts that if you jump off a building you only go one fucking way, well, there are no fucking facts other than a very few fundamentals. And so, you know, the fact is the sun's warm. Okay, yeah, well, I've never felt it emanating a chill to me, to be fair. There's maybe been a chill in the air, but as far as the sun's concerned, there's always been a little bit of warmth there, even in the heart of winter. So, okay, look, there's a certain few facts out there, but I really just don't give that concept anything like the credit and the respect that it demands when people speak about facts. No, I just don't. And so I abhor a bore who talks about facts. And you know, there are people that they will try to tell you what the facts are about everything. every single conceivable human experience. They'll be looking on AI and Googling what the facts are, and they want to tell you what the facts are about this. And if you say, you know, I had an experience last night, like I've written in my book, I've had lots of very, very bizarre experiences in my life which contravene so-called stupid fucking facts, to be quite frank with you people. And so when people start speaking about there's a physical reality and there's no such thing as ghosts and spooks and gods and angels and demons, well, I've seen them all. I've experienced them all. And I'm telling you now, they are every bit as real, if not more real, than these so-called fucking facts they want to tell me about science or whatever like that. And so, I've got no time for it. It is exceedingly boring, and anybody that engages on my channels, Lord knows, I mean, some people are, they're just exceedingly persistent, pointing out the facts. And I'm like, well, where do you get these facts from? What people have written down, which has been proven to be facts. Well, like what? Well, like this scientist report and like this philosophical, logical conundrum, and you know all that. And I'm like, just words come from other people. These peer-reviewed papers, by the way, you'll start to hear about this more and more because there's more and more people speaking about it. We are supposed to have a deep-rooted respect and adherence for the peer-reviewed papers. And when someone states that they've discovered something and it's been peer-reviewed, well, the chances are, and these are the facts which have been uncovered by a certain institution, organisation, that in actual fact there's been less than 10% of these peer-reviewed papers which have been peer-reviewed. And when something gets peer-reviewed, to what extent? Someone's read it, someone's reviewed it. Have they actually carried out the experiment? Have they actually got down, rolled the sleeves up in the lab and tried to replicate what is supposed to be a fact and proven? This, that and the other? Invariably not. And when they do, well, they get into big trouble. Because invariably they're coming up with different facts. And so we've got this concept now bounding around, rightly so, of scientism, because we cannot trust the facts, we cannot trust the scientists, because they are under the spell of their own beguilement and the institutional beguilements and the funding beguilements. You see, when you've got people which fund these people, they fund them to look and find a certain thing. Like with all this funding of this science for the thing that happened in the not too distant past. Oh goodness me, it's been funded here and it's been funded there. And they were looking for a specific thing and they didn't want to hear about anything else. The funders wanted the results of this, and so hey presto, certain scientists can manifest that under certain conditions, of course. And so yeah, trust nothing, people. And so I'm assuming that most of you haven't come here for facts. And if I started talking to you about facts, you'd get bored very, very quickly and then you'd leave, and rightly so. And so I don't know, I don't understand. I'm simply not that clever. Why people come onto my channel and they just want to talk about the facts all the time, and this is the fact and that's a fact and that's proven and this is proven and that's proven, and it's like, oh my goodness, wow, you should get out more, dude. You should fucking get out more. Seems you need to get out more. You know, look, I'm reading this book at this moment in time, the Hermetica, and the Lost Wisdom of the Pharaohs. This is premised on Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice named and the scribe of ancient Egyptian times, and it's premised in the Kabbalah, Kabbalah, this sort of thing, this mystical sort of Jewish thing, deeply seated in mysticism. It's like the Zohar. The Zohar is a mystical interpretation of the Torah. The Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament, reputedly written by Moses, but being absolutely refuted factually because of the contradictions, and even in those books they were referring back to Moses, and it's kind of, hang on, I thought Moses wrote these fucking scripts, and then Moses is referring back to Moses hundreds of years or fucking scores of years in the future. Oh my goodness, everything is just preposterous. Everything just preposterous bunch of nonsense, people, and this is why I just don't believe anything. Never have them. Even when I started out on this journey 16 years ago, I never uttered a word of I'm looking for the truth. The original channel was called One Man's Quest to Understand. One Man's Quest to Understand. But subsequent to my journey, I don't use the word understand anymore. I use the word understand, because to say you understand, well, we can get into very, very sticky, tricky situations and hot water when we say we understand, because understand is a word of the legalese language, and legalese wants to keep you bound in your straw man, and you come under the jurisdiction of whatever authority you succumb to when you accept that you understand. Like if you go before a court of law, who's fucking law? Oh, the law of the land. Says who? Who are you people with silly fucking wigs on? Oh, it's the Crown. It's the Crown of England. It's the Queen of England's law. But it comes under God's law, That's why you have to swear on the Holy Bible. So do you understand this law? Well, if you say yes, if you understand it, then you stand under. You stand under their jurisdiction. So don't ever say you understand. You don't understand their jurisdiction, because you're accepting their power and their authority over you. You're a sovereign being. Say, no, I don't understand. I understand English, so speak to me in English and I'll contest whatever you're saying. And then when they say to you, is this you? And your name is written in higher case, say, no, that's not me. That's a name that you, in your legalese and your control mechanism, has imposed upon me. If I wanted a passport or a driver's license or something of that nature, then you impose upon me that I am this name in legalese, which is all higher case. No, that's not my name. My name's in lowercase. I'm a sovereign entity. You see, look, that's a whole different ball game. Some of you will know about that stuff. But when we're looking at truth, oh goodness me, always be exceedingly sceptical. And even okay, so there's a few fundamental truths. Well, everybody dies. That's the truth. But then you can say, well, do they? How do we know? How do we know? We can see the body dies, but what do you call a person? What is a person? Is a person just a spirit having a human avatar experience? In which case, it's just like a hand fitting in a glove, and then the glove gets old and perishes. Well, the hand isn't the glove, is it? And so, is the human being the body, or is the human being the spirit? And so, does the spirit ever die? Lots of people say no, the spirit never dies, it's infinite. And so how can spirit die? It's not a corporeal thing. And so truth, people, no. And so there's a friend of mine, he's texting me today, much to my chagrin, texts. But I don't have many people that I offer that facility to. And so he's saying that he's starting the channel because you know, he wants to stand up for his rights and you know, fight the liberalists and you know, prove that just because someone says they are of a certain gender, well, let's have a look at the proof. Let's see between your legs. Take your pants down. Let's have a look. What's going on? And they go, doesn't look like any woman I've ever come upon, to be fair. Just saying, to be fair. Call yourself what you want. You know what I'm saying? Getting into all this little sort of stuff now. Ooh, how many of you are like, me. I hope none of you. I hope none of you. I'm not on my channel. Not on my channel. Come on. Not on my channel. Anyway, all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, I just don't get involved with that shit. I don't get involved with that fucking shitfest of you're right and I'm wrong, and I reserve the right to call me or you to call me whatever I so desire. And I always say things like, well, if I want to pretend that I'm a giraffe and I impose upon you that you must call me Giffy the giraffe, and everywhere I go I'm eating like a giraffe, walking like a giraffe and acting like a giraffe, pretending I'm a giraffe, but people can see I'm not really a fucking giraffe. I'm not. No, you're not really a giraffe, mate. You just probably think you are. You probably want to be. You're certainly acting a little bit like a giraffe, but not very much. And so we've got all this stuff to contend with. Where does it end, people? Where does it end if you allow that to continue? But there's no end to it, is there? There's no end to it. And then all of a sudden, I need a driver's license depicting my giraffe-like nature. Then I need a passport, you know, and when I look at my photo, it's not the way I see myself. No, that's a human being. I'm a giraffe. I need a picture of me. I'm a giraffe. Can't you see my long neck? Can't you see my patchy fur? Can't you see my long eyelashes? Well, I need a picture of me in my passport. And so would the leftists go, well, he is a giraffe? Well, why? Because he said so. He said so, so it must be. It must be true. So then we'll put a picture of a giraffe in there. We'll pretend it's... And all that. It doesn't end, does it, people? It doesn't end. It just gets into fucking idiocracy. So, yeah, people fighting left and right. Look, this is going on in the world. And I say, well, look, I'm just grabbing my Coke and my popcorn, and I'm looking forward to the shitfest in whatever manifestation it takes place. In nuclear war, in civil unrest on every single continent. I don't care. I really don't care. I do not care. I don't believe in the physical world. I don't believe in the human being as being the be-all in the end. I just think it's a figment in the mind of God, to be fair, people. And those of you that really want to know how I think and why I think like I do, well, you can read what I had to say in 650 pages in my book. And then you'll see all the experiences I've had, which are exceedingly very, very bizarre. And anyone that's dealing with the facts and saying trust the science, well, they live in a completely different world to the worlds in which I've experienced, and they live in a completely different world to the world in which I experience every day. Now, you know, one person in the comments is going, oh, this in there, we're nothing racial, you know, it's been this and it's been that, and it's not the truth, it's not the facts. The facts, you have to go wait, and then somewhere down there, oh, there's a fact down there, and you pick out the fact here, the fact there. But the fact of it is, when people try to interpret ancient scripture, what do? They haven't got a fucking clue barely what's being said. They have to infer something. Why do you have to infer something? Because when shit was written 2, 3, 5,000 years ago, people spoke very, very differently. And if you're interpreting the language from another language, then what are you going to end up with? And so this is the thing. we lose so much. And so by the time anything comes to us, then of course, I mean, it's vastly different from the original. Do we think for one moment, doubtless as a few of you do, but do we seriously believe that the Bible is exactly as it was written? Or do we consider that it's been massively changed? Well, we know that the King James Version was considerably changed because he wanted it to be changed in a certain way. He wanted it to have a certain conveyance, which, you know, was conducive to his hierarchical position and his thoughts and this, that and the other. And so then you've got, you know, all different versions. And goodness me, I used to go to Bible study just to see what these idiots were talking about. Just complete nonsense. And then they'd all be opening their Bibles, and then one person would have this Bible, that person would have that Bible, and you couldn't even say open the Bible on such and such a page with such and such a this, because they've all got different translations and versions. And so even the fucking Bibles never agreed with each other. Shocking, people, absolutely shocking. And then people are, oh, this is the word of God, this is what Jesus said, this is what Yahweh said. Really? Oh my goodness. And so this book, look, this book for me, it doesn't contain any facts. It doesn't even allude to any facts. It's not interested in facts. It doesn't start off on the premise of this is fact and this is the word of God. No. It's just, look, this is what Hermes Trismegistus penned thousands of years ago. It's been changed by scholars. They collated a little bit of a scripture here, a little bit of a scripture there, you know, they put things together and it's been translated into different language and this, that and the other. But the general theme of what this school of thought, the Hermetica, was about is this. And I'm reading this and I'm like, well, that's very much in line with how I like to think about the world. I don't want to think about the world as facts, that, you know, there was this Big Bang one day, and then this thing like that, tiny, tiny, tiny it was, then it expanded into billions and gazillions and trillions and facillions and wazillions of fucking galaxies, and now that's all about us. Really? And it came, oh yeah, oh what, we just believe that? In our wildest imagination, we're just supposed to accept it, aren't we? I don't accept it. I say, what are you talking about, you fucking idiots? You think I'm an idiot? You think I'm an idiot? You think I'm a fucking imbecile? Yes, it was this tiny little thing like that. What did it come out of? Well, it came out of the nothingness. What came before that little thing? And what was the purpose of that little thing? Anyway, it went bang, and now, all these things around here. And we scientists know this, and we scientists know... Oh, really? I don't think you know fuck all, to be quite frank. I don't think you know fuck all. Nothing. I think you're just dreaming. Yes, you're all dreaming in the mind of God's dream. God's just dreaming everything. And that's what this book says. It says exactly what I know to be true. That we are mini-gods. We operate in exactly the same way with our imagination, with our consciousness, with our creation, creational ability. Look what we've created. Or what did God of the Old Testament, and this isn't talking about God of the Old Testament, by the way, this is talking about the Egyptian God, the one that the pharaohs, some of them, used to worship, you know, thousands of years before Jesus, who was a bit of pre-cum on his fucking old man's cock. Oh no, he didn't come from his old man's cock, did he? From God's cock, the Immaculate Conception. Well, how did Mary conceive? Well, Jesus, God's invisible cum. It's a bit complicated. Don't really. Oh yeah, just accept it. Yeah, Immaculate Conception. Wow, another fucking miracle. Oh goodness me, all these fucking miracles. And even the scientists that you know, they're absolutely averse to miracles. Well, they want one free fucking miracle, don't they, to start off all their bullshit. Give us one free miracle, we call it the Big Bang, and then we'll talk about it from there. No, I'm not listening to it. I'm not listening to nothing, people. But what I can say is, and I don't know how many of you feel like this, I've always felt very intuitive. I know that I am something bigger. And many of my videos I proclaim that I am God. We are all God. Why? Because I think the cosmos is God. I think consciousness is God. I think it's all a dream, because there's no physical matter here, by the way, as far as quantum physicists are concerned, and as far as Buddhists are concerned, and you know, many people from ancient times, they'd worked that one out a long time ago. And scientists are, oh, this molecule and that molecule, well, we're going to crash these molecules together. And then there's scientists a few doors down the corridor in the same building, they're called quantum physicists, and they stick their heads out and they go, by the way, there ain't no fucking matter, there's no physical matter, there's no fucking molecules and atoms. Just saying. Just saying. So whatever you're fucking calculating and with your telescopes and your microscopes and your atom, no, figment of your imagination. We discovered that 120 years ago. Close the fucking door. And what does everyone else do? Just carry on as normal. Well, people are funding us, the Rothschilds are funding us, so we've got to talk about these atoms and these molecules and then these viruses and things like that. Yes, we've got to manifest a virus out of these atoms. Oh, how are we going to do that? Oh, don't worry, you'll find a way. As long as the money keeps coming in, you'll find a fucking way. Yeah. Oh dear, it's deep, people, it's deep. But I don't get involved in that. That stuff's abhorrent to me. It's human machinations, and it's all abhorrent. It's still pathetic. It's disgusting. But you know, if you look at the bigger picture, then it's the dream in the mind of God. And well, it is what it is, then, isn't it? You know, God wants it this way. If the cosmos wants it this way, look, you can make any inference of whatever God you want. When I speak about God, I'm speaking loosely in relation to the notion of Spinoza's God. The Jewish philosopher Spinoza, who was happy that everything is a creation of God, because we don't know what any fucking thing is, and it's all a mystery, and it's all magical. So I think at this moment in time, to assume that there was a creator might be a good idea. Might be a good idea. Rather than just dismissing it and considering it just to be happenstance. This shit just fucking made this shit, and that shit made that shit. And then you've got a kangaroo in Australia. Oh yeah, fucking molecules and atoms, that is, you know, genetics. Well, why is it so fucking different to any other fucking creature on the planet? Well, it's a bit similar from a rat. It probably came from a rat. Yes, it came from a rat. It's just a bigger version of rat. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, only in the opposite direction. Honey, I've expanded the rat, and now it's called a kangaroo. Yeah, well, where's the bones from the ones that was growing in between over millions of years? Moving on. Is that decaf you've got there? Oh yeah, a couple of sugars, please. Yeah. Anyway, talk to you later. Yeah, all this stuff goes on, doesn't it? All this stuff goes on, people. Quick, move the fucking goalposts. But for me, I read books like that, and I'm very happy to have this written by one person who has done some study of some of the texts and read the interpretation and the translations and the hodgepodging together of a few slithers here and a few slithers there from thousands of years ago. Well, eventually we have things like this, and some people will say, oh, the truth is this, the truth is that. Oh, you got to go back 1,000 years, and you got this little squidgy segment, and this little squidgy segment means this and means that, and it means this in Coptic, and it means this in Hebrew, but the real whatever. I'm just happy to read this. I just read this and go, yeah, that's pretty well how I see the world. It feels right to me. It feels right. So I say to people, oh, facts. I say, look, you can go back 20,000 fucking years with your silly fucking facts. They mean nothing to me. I don't believe in facts, and I most certainly don't believe in human contrivance and the facility and ability to find facts and then bring them forward 20,000 fucking years and lay them before us as absolutely gospel. No, I'm not buying it. And nor should anybody else, nor should anybody else. So what have we got? Well, we've got books written by people in modern times, writing in the modern language that gives us something that may make us feel nice and fluffy, or it may resonate with us. And to be quite frank, the Egyptians, with their afterworld and their all their gods and you know, all that variety of stuff going on. Well, I've been to quite a few afterworlds, by the way. I've been to quite a few alternate universes, parallel states of consciousness. I've been out into the astral. I've had hundreds of entheogenic psychedelic experiences where I've seen all different sorts of entities. I've had entities speak with me. I've had Jesus speak to me, God speak to me, Satan speak to me, angels giving me subliminal messages. I've had all that going on. And I can still hold a decent, half-intelligible conversation. I'm not banging my head against a rubber room, and I'm not masturbating out in public at every given opportunity. I'm not stark fucking raving mad. No, I'm pretty compos mentis, and I'm telling you, for those who have ears, what my life experience has been. And I don't give a fuck about people's facts, and nor should you. And so lots of you, maybe you've had deep meditative experience, entheogenic experience, near-death experience, paranormal, supernatural. Maybe you've experienced samadhi like I have on a couple of occasions, and all these different sorts of things. And when you have that, you see this world differently. Now, those people that talk about facts, they have never ever had any of these experiences, because if they have had one of those experiences, then all of their stupid facts pale in an instant into insignificance, because you enter into a different state of consciousness outside of those silly fucking facts, and you go, wow, those silly fucking facts are silly fucking facts. What a load of bollocks I was believing in. And I was like, oh, facts, facts, facts. And telling everyone facts and trying to prove everyone wrong with facts. People need to live. And I say to people like this, I say, look, you know, can't you see that your silly fucking facts don't mean anything outside of maybe the math classroom? If you want to talk about fucking facts, then go into a math classroom and say, can you put 2 plus 2 into your calculator and tell me what the answer is? And everyone will go, oh, miss, it's 4. That's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, kiddies, that's a fact. Right, so today you learnt a fact in school in math. Now, can you take that level of factual shit out anywhere else and do it? A little bit in science, you can go, if you drop this rock off fucking the Leaning Tower of Pisa, then something's going to happen. Guess what's going to happen? It's going to go down. Yeah. Well, that's a fact. Oh, okay, so there's 2 facts there. Right, okay, 2 facts. Are there any more? Well, the sun rises every day. Oh, no, that one's been debunked. That one was debunked in 1650 by Copernicus, maybe even 1550. 1550, I think. Yeah, 1550, Copernicus, yeah, debunked that one. Maybe you should change that rhetoric. Why haven't you changed that rhetoric? In all these years, the sun rises every day. The sun doesn't rise every day. Why do people talk like that? Because they're not interested in facts. Most people are not interested in facts, people. And this is my point. Nobody's interested that God isn't real. There's 4,000 religions on the fucking planet, and all those people that have an adherence to their religion aren't interested in any fucking scientists poo-pooing through their illusory facts that there is no God. And so if someone said to me that this book is a load of bollocks, I'm going to go, well, this book to me, I'm only 60 pages in, but it's proving to be very consistent, actually, with the experiences that I've had in my life. With the afterlife and gods and beings and entities. I've met a lot of them. I've met shadow beings. I've met really bizarre sort of creatures that come sniff and lick and want to touch you up sexually in the astral. I've met beautiful women in the astral. I've met, you know, these sinister shadow beings, you know, who just move around like a shadow and they try and intimidate you. There's all different sorts of stuff going on, people. And so this is why I'm not interested in facts. I never have been. My constitution, from a very young age, I was never interested in facts. Never ever. You know, when I was at school and they was telling me about the Big Bang, in the beginning was these two planets and they banged together. I'm like, hang on, miss. I'm looking at my mate like this. I see a flaw in their fucking conspiracy. Miss, if it was the beginning, where did those two planets come from? And it's kind of like, well, these two planets continue to draw on the board. Put that boy to detention out there, disrupting the class. Two planets, big circles like that, the drew. You know, this woman, this silly girl, looking back now, she was probably about 35 years old, holding up a textbook with a piece of chalk and parroting what she's told to fucking tell the kids. And now it's kind of like, nobody hears that anymore. Nobody hears the two planets banging together, do they? But we were told that. Now we said that it's just this tiny little thing and it, you know, just exploded like a nuclear fission. And so they've made certain modifications, that's what I'm saying, people. And they'll make more and more and more and more and more. Anyway, you know this Big Bang thing. It was theorised in about 1966. And they reckon because they could record, measure the radiation coming from the centre of the cosmos from the very, very beginning of the Big Bang. That's why they can measure it right back to 13.8 billion years. Well, very recently, what's happened is with new telescopes up there, they go, oh dear. You know all that stuff we said about we can measure this, that and the other from the radiation? Well, what it turns out is light now. Because, you know, we've only known there's been multiple galaxies. In only recent times, I don't know, it's maximum 150 years, that we've known that there's galaxies all around us. And there's fucking gazillions of them. And so what scientists are saying now, no, when the scientists were saying they were reading the radiation coming from the initial Big Bang, no, it turns out that the radiation is coming from every conceivable area, and it's coming from nearby galaxies, nearby 50 million light years away, you know, and all that sort of stuff. And so, look, people, there's no truth. There is no truth, and there's no facts. And so I ask anyone to desist from trying to impress upon me or on this channel any notion of fucking fact. And all we've got to do is look at recent times. Is it a fact that man landed on the moon? Debatable. Is it a fact that Lee Harvey Oswald shot Kennedy? Debatable. Is it a fact that Michelle Obama is a woman? Debatable. Is it a fact that Clinton was an honourable president? We could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And then we just look for whatever's going on. Where's the facts? There's no facts. We're in absolute chaos and turmoil, aren't we? Because there's so many people putting stuff in. You see, back in 1969 we had a few tabloids, and the tabloids were king and radio was king, and a little bit of television, a little bit of frosty fucking shimmerings on the telly, and you know, the powers that be had the market. Now they don't have the market. Every Tom, Dick and Harry's got a fucking phone, and they can be their own fucking pundit and publisher, and they can fucking tell the world their own facts and this, that and the other. And so we have an enormous amount of information, and so what are we going to make of it? What are we going to make of it? So what I've always maintained, and this was way before, you know, all this stuff was going on, we have a subjective experience. The subjective experience is really the only thing that we can depend upon for any notion of truth. And Well, if you can only depend on yourself, you can't depend on the tabloids, you can't depend on the news papers, you can't depend on the politicians, you can't depend on the scientists, you can't depend on the fucking church. Who the fuck can you depend on then? Well, you have to come home, you really do. You have to come home and you have to ask yourself, well, what do you know? You can say, I believe in God, I believe in baby Jesus. And then people say to you, well, why do you believe that? I want to. Okay, fair enough, if you want to. It's not fact, is it? You can't be telling people it's a fact that baby Jesus loves you. You know, you love the idea of baby Jesus. And that's probably the closest you're going to get to a fact. You feel a certain way about a certain thought. And so, well, that's your truth, isn't it? And so that's where we are, people. Whether you believe in Trump or you believe in Biden, or you believe in the Republicans or the Democrats or fucking whatever. It's your truth. And so what am I promoting on my channel? I'm promoting that we all have some sort of a ability to be able to introspect and discover that which we may be. I won't even say that which we are, because there's a lot of stuff which we're not, people. And there's a lot of ideas and projections and biases and pollutants from our childhood. Can you imagine, you know, why these people come out of the Middle East so twisted in their minds about some dead desert dogma bullshit? Because they got them from the fucking womb. They even heard the prayer to call to prayer, fucking since they were fetus this fucking big. They grew up with that shit. La 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 la, and fucking hell, as soon as they pop out, mum slaps the fucking Quran in the fucking face and says, oh, I'll tell you a story. Yeah, that's what's going on, people. That's what's going on. And it's not only over there, it's here as well. All these religious fucking fanatics and fundamentalists and everything like that just want to jump on a belief bandwagon because they're too fucking lazy to look inside. But I'm hoping that most of you, at least a little bit, you look inside and you ask yourself what's true to you, and you try to do what René Descartes did, the French philosopher of 1650. He just fucking sat down in front of the fire one night and just asked himself what's real. What was real? And he discounted absolutely everything except there's something that was thinking. And he goes, well, something's thinking, so something's real. But that was it. And so, you know, we have to do this. And so if we take entheogens, if we meditate, if we have all different sorts of life experiences, we learn things and we gain a little bit of wisdom. And as we gain a little bit of wisdom, hopefully we will be let go of all the nonsense that we had an adherence to when we were young, stupid and naive. And by the time you get to be a wise old man or woman, you shouldn't be believing in any fucking thing. You just go, I don't know. I don't fucking know. Everything in my life has turned out to be a paradox, to be quite frank. And so what can we do? What can we do, people? So truth and facts, not something I engage with. Not something I've ever engaged with. What do I engage with? I engage with vocalizing my thoughts, my experience, stuff I've been reading and experiencing and watching and observing and feeling and all that, and I'm just conveying that stuff to you. I'm not telling you it's true, it's a fact. I'm not telling you you've got to follow me, you've got to believe me, and this is your reality. No, we've all got our own reality. We all see things. In actual fact, I'm all saying we've got our own world. Literally, it's a fact. We've got our own worlds. You know, when you look at it, we've got our own individuated consciousness, which we do not share with any other mortal. Nobody, nothing. In the whole world, in the whole cosmos. Well, logic would prevail that, well, if we've got our own consciousness, then our own consciousness is creating our own world. Because our perception, and our perception, we know our perceptions vary massively according to who we are. And just ask a Muslim their perception, ask a Christian their perception, ask a scientist their perception, ask a philosopher their perception, ask a numpty in the street their perception. Goodness me, ooh, you've got a whole cosmos of perceptions, and they're all individuated, and nobody shares anybody else's perception 100%. Sometimes we go, well, I'm in agreement, yeah, there's a fucking giraffe fucking with its long neck looking over that fence over there. How the fuck did that giraffe get there? Must have escaped from the zoo or something like that. Yeah, but we have a little bit of consensus, but not much, people, not much. And so what do? We just accept that we have our own worlds, and we can't impose our truth on anybody else. That's just ridiculous. It's futile, and all you got to do is look around the world at this moment in time. Everybody's trying to impose their truth on somebody else, and it's not working, is it? What's happening is more and more people are getting more and more angry and killing more people. That's what's happening. More and more attacks, more and more assaults, more violence out in the streets, everything. Because people, they've long forgot that there is no truth and there is no facts. And we shouldn't be worshipping graven images, and so we shouldn't be worshipping a man in a tie. We shouldn't be worshipping a figure of someone with a fucking halo around his head. We shouldn't be worshipping anybody or anything, unless we just want to humble ourselves under the starry heavens and realise and accept that we don't know anything. How could we possibly know anything? And so, well, we know we feel pain, frustration, anger and all those things. We know we can feel joy and bliss and love. And so it kind of makes sense to head for one and not the other, whatever your propensity is. But how many people head for the negative? How many people want to do evil? How many people want to head for conflict? How many people want to create pain and suffering? It's an enormous amount. And when people tell me that the human being is fundamentally love, I tell them that I've never experienced that in all my life. I have actually never experienced that the human being, any human being I've ever met, was fundamentally love. No, never seen it. But I've seen that every human being potentially can be evil. It's kind of like, ooh. Like Alexander Solzhenitsyn says, the guy who spent 10 years in Russian Gulag. He said, evil runs through the heart of every man. And I don't doubt it. If anyone says to me, love runs through the heart of every man, I'll go, get the fuck out of here. Where you been? What fucking fantasy world are you living in? Yeah. Anyway, people, I think this has been long enough now. Say a few things in here. See what you think of that.